Hello, my name is Patamani, and the title of my project is The Decolonized Self. Within the Decolonized Self, I'm exploring the scientific ramifications of the indigenous concept of stories as medicine, a concept that was introduced to me while conducting many years of field research, collecting oral histories of Native American elders from many, many backgrounds, many of whom had firsthand experience with intergenerational trauma related to genocide and subsequent health issues resulting from which. The concept of stories as medicine for me means actually going into the subconscious. We spend about 95% of our time operating from the subconscious, only about 5% of the time operating from our conscious mind, because it's within the subconscious mind that behavioral patterns can be changed and our perceptions can be changed. Subconscious mind is recording everything at all times. This is based on the work of, you can look at reference the work of biologist Dr. Bruce Lipton, and where he talks about belief systems being a part of that subconscious patterning. Now, how do you change that? Traditional psychology would have you go through the conscious mind, reliving your childhood and talking about past pains and stuff like that. But there's a constriction within. You can't change the subconscious mind using the conscious mind. You have to go into the subconscious. And for that, you need to have something symbolic and very, very emotional to make an impression on the subconscious. The subconscious is recording everything all the time with great, great, great detail. So for me, I'm looking at how memory changes over time. New information changes memory that we access. This is demonstrated like you go out, you have an experience with a group of friends, afterwards people relate their individuated experiences. That new information will actually change your memory, as will information over time. Every time you retrieve the memory and then more information is added to it, it changes. So we can change our subconscious mind, especially through interacting with it creatively. And for that purpose, I have determined the internet as my archaeological site. For when I first began exploring my identity online and those things associated to my identity, I was surprised and my mind blown by how much the internet knows about me that I don't know myself. So using that as a site, it allows me to then navigate here in the waking reality where archives or the footsteps, pathways that my ancestors made in their journey. So I'm also using top-of-the-line tools, prosumer tools in DNA analysis and genealogy in order to reconstruct these pathways so that I can then travel them in order to collect stories that will become a part of my own story. And it's very important within this process that everything be self-determined and that the curiosity be allowed to lead the way. So this isn't about external factors informing me about my identity, because that's how we grow up. We're very young. We spend the first couple of years in the delta brainwave state, just sleeping. Then we spend several years up until the age of 7, where we're in a theta state. We're very, very impressionable. This is why youth or children of that age are so good at picking up languages. They're just absorbing everything. But they're also absorbing everything else, which may or may not be good for them in the long run. So for the purpose of my research, I'm doing it immersively. I'm doing it in the field. Again, I'm traveling the pathways, whether it be the railroad, whether it be the streets or the streetcars, the old stomping grounds of my ancestors, and collecting stories along the way. As I've been doing so, the one that really popped out, the one that really resonated with me, was this surprise of finding my Uncle Willie buried in an unmarked grave in New Orleans. Learning that he was buried with another man and that he kept that relationship secret from the family. So this really spoke to me as a queer kid growing up in a small town, much like my uncle was a queer kid growing up in a small town, rural Mississippi. I was in Kansas. I can identify with that sense of having to hide oneself within one's culture. I believe that this story collection and my retelling of these stories and reinterpretation of these stories through my own lens, through my own filter, has profound scientific applications, addressing epigenetic trauma, and also improving and enhancing memory as we age. For my project, really, if you boil it all down, it's just a better memory. Thank you.